Hey y'all. So, welcome to Savvy Maven. I am Janisha and welcome. If you are new here, just to let you know, I really appreciate you for stopping to check out my channel. Make sure that you subscribe on today. Savvy Maven is a conversation that we have about faith, we have about identity, leadership, relationship, and simply becoming who God has called you to be in seasons that really don't look all impressive on the outside. So this channel is all about walking a very imperfected journey, loving Christ, being in faith, and really just doing life together. So thank you for tuning in. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I appreciate your support for rocking with me on my YouTube journey. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, as you see in the title, today's video is about me not breaking down, but breaking open. And this may hit some of y'all that you are in this season where you feel like life has really knocked me upside my head. I feel like I'm falling apart. I feel like nothing's falling into place. But bro, sis, I want to just let you know that what you think may be breaking you down could actually be breaking you open. So, for a long time, especially on last year, because last year, and I'll share my testimony, it's been a very interesting year and journey of faith for me. But last year, I really thought that I was breaking down. Emotionally, I felt very unstable. Mentally, I felt like I was really on the brink of losing my entire mind. And spiritually, I just felt really, really wore out. I felt like tried. I felt there were so many highs and way too many lows. And I'm like, Lord, I am breaking down. But what I've come to realize is that in that season for me, I wasn't breaking down at all. I was breaking open. Now, I will tell you that revelation didn't come to me for some time, because here we are in 2026, and it felt like all of last year was just really me falling and just into shambles. Okay. And so this past year really stretched me in ways that I was not ready for. I didn't anticipate nothing that I went through. Plans that I made, it didn't unfold the way that I thought they were going to unfold. Like nothing was expected, not even in the least. My stability felt really, really shaky. I felt like I didn't have my feet up under me a lot of the times. And there were many quiet days where I had to show up and function like a seemingly normal person, even though life was super, super heavy. And I know for some of you, you may feel like, oh my God, I am so tired of showing up. I feel like I am walking in quicksand. I feel like I can't keep my head above water. And that can be one of the most draining, exhausting seasons of your life. But what I will say is, in the middle of all of that pressure, all of that being tried by the fire, God started showing me something different about him, about his character, about myself, about my faith that I claimed that I had in my walk with him. And I also realized that season was not sent to destroy me. I truly believe that season was sent because it is what allowed me to realize that, you know, when you pray for God to move in a certain way in your life, you pray for the new beginning, you pray for the new opportunities, you pray for the house, the car, all these things that you pray for. Oftentimes we don't realize that there's a cost associated with that. We think that, you know, if we fast and we pray and we make disciples and we go to work and we're responsible and we're not just outlandishly, blatantly sinful in this world, that it's just gonna go. And I had to realize that a lot of what I was asking God for, he gave it to me. But there were some trials and tribulations and experiences that I had to go through so that I could see something different about myself and realize that God was not trying to punish me. He was not trying to destroy me. He was trying to expose me. Okay. Some of you may be exposed right now, or that season that you just came out of, if it relates to anything that I'm talking about right now, where God has really exposed what has been buried under survival mode, because God applied some pressure. Okay. He applied some major pressure in my life last year, and I was truly in survival mode. It was like survival of the fittest. Either you gonna sink or you gonna swim. Okay. And in real life, legit, I cannot swim. So I'm like, Lord, I do not want to drown. I need you to save me. I need a lifeline. I need you to stretch out your hand. I need you to remind me to lift up my eyes, Peter, and walk on the water. You were there with me. If I just listen to your voice, follow your commands, you were right there with me. But when life felt like it was beating me up, I wasn't hearing all that. Wasn't hearing all that at all. And so I realized that because I was not in a posture to really hear and receive God in the ways that I am so much able to now, I'm so grateful God has opened up my ears and opened up my heart and took the scales off of my eyes, that I loosened my grip on things. I had been holding on to so much, so tightly, and it was birthed out of a trauma response. It was birthed out of growing up too fast. It was birthed out of feeling like I had to carry a relationship, raising kids, trying to navigate corporate America and even entrepreneurship as a Black woman. Like, there are so many nuances that come with the territory that were really eating me up, and I'm fighting all the things at one time. So it was just a lot going on, but I was holding on to those things that I should have let God just simply manage and me just be the conduit to bring glory to his name. And so once I realized, girl, you have to take the reins off and just let God orchestrate and, order your steps. You say it with your mouth, but your heart is far from him. And so when you start doing things, because you can see in your head the logic behind it, it's like, girl, let God be God. Okay. Calm down. Don't spiral out of control. Don't operate out of an empty place. Don't operate in survival mode. Truly allow God to be God. But that requires you building a relationship with him. That requires you sacrificing. That requires you surrendering old ways of thinking and old ways of moving, doing, and being. And it also requires you to come out of a period of isolation. Because sometimes when you're going through things and you feel like you are got a death grip on all the situations, it's like you want to just recluse. You just want to isolate and, avoid certain people, situations. You got to come out of that. So turning that isolation into consecration with the Lord, fasting, praying, really getting into his word, being still to hear his voice, that was required of me to be able to loosen my grip. And that, again, season, I feel like was sent to me, and it allowed me to create space for God, because I claimed that I was creating space for him. But in all reality, it's like, okay, if I can remember on this day to start my day in my word before I do anything else, then I'm making space. It was really about a lifestyle. It was about those moments, morning throughout my work day. Even when I was in a season where I wasn't working, I had to create space for God in my heart, and I couldn't include God as an afterthought. He was not an add-on to whatever I already decided in my heart and decided in my mind. And so when I say that I wasn't breaking down, I was breaking open, it reminds me, and hopefully this is connecting with a lot of you, that breaking open, it can feel really, really uncomfortable because it requires a surrender. It requires a sacrifice. It requires you really laying down some things that are comfortable for you at the altar. It requires you releasing control, whether that's in your thoughts, whether it's in your actions. And it requires you to trust God in areas where you really don't yet see any kind of result. You're like, God, this doesn't even make any sense. Like, practically, this makes no sense, like legit. And so everything with God does not need to always not make any sense. But where God does his big one is usually when things don't make sense. Okay. Um, and two, like you can follow the Lord, you can trust the Lord, and you don't see results. Like, not saying immediately, like once you put it out there, you decree a thing, you say you released or surrendered a thing, it could be weeks and months and you still ain't seen no results. And you're like, Lord, I'm still supposed to trust you in this? Yes, that is exactly what you're supposed to do. And I had so many moments where I felt like I was kicking and screaming and truly being a child of God. Okay, straight up acting like a child, because I'm like, God, I am so ready to see the fruit of my sacrifice. But then I had to remember, like, God isn't transactional. And I feel like um, a lot of the times I would almost treat God like a transaction, like my actions, because I did this, I was expecting that. And I think because I was so tired of just going through. And I'm like, Lord, I need a breakthrough. Um, but what I want to say too is that if you feel like that and you feel like you have surrendered everything, surrender is a strength. It's not a weakness, because when you decrease, the Lord increases in you, and you have to surrender. His word says that you have to surrender. So it's not a weakness. It doesn't mean that you've given up. It doesn't mean that you don't have the strength that he has told you that that he put on the inside of you. It doesn't mean that you're less than. Surrender simply puts you in alignment. Okay, surrender puts you in alignment with God's will for your life. And this is one of the most important things that you have to remember in your walk with the Lord, is that you are going to be surrendering all the time. Don't think it's just the one time I feel like I'm in the bottom of the pit and I'm going to just surrender this thing and that's going to cover it all. No, you're going to always surrender, and you're going to always require God's daily bread for you. So just always know that you're going to have to continually surrender. So what I noticed too is that some of my old habits, like the way I used to talk over myself, the way I used to think about life and think about things that I've been through, I kept rehearsing things. These old habits that I had began to lose their power, because I realized I can't keep ruminating over these same exact thoughts. Like, it does nothing but take me into a further depression. It removes me from the reality of what I'm actually experiencing. It removes the opportunity for me to hear God. It removes me from making the steps necessary to move forward. And it clouds my judgment. Like, I can't move forward with these old habits, these old thoughts. So those things lost their power once I truly repented and turned from my way of trying to aid God in my life. And so old fears that I once had, those things started coming to the surface, and I gave myself yet another opportunity to shed these layers, to shed this armor that I put on, that I actually thought I had let a lot of things go. I thought I had healed from a lot of things. But when you're in different seasons, God reminds you of how he's brought you out. But sometimes you're also reminded of something that you really did not truly let go, that you claim that you let go, because it's got a death grip on you being able to make progress. And so I became more aware, and I'm still becoming more aware of who I am beneath the pressure. Okay. The pressure of trying to pay bills, the pressure of trying to be a long distance mother, the pressure of trying to be a daughter, a sister, a friend, showing up to work, trying to advance my career. There's a lot of pressure with that. I'm becoming aware of who I am beyond, the expectations of society, the expectations that I put on myself to be a certain level, a caliber of a woman, of a mother. And also it's required me to be more aware of who I am becoming beneath the versions of myself that I had to become just to simply survive. And let me pause there, because some of you, just like me, may have a similar story, but just hear me on this. When you traverse through life and you go through these seasons of childhood, adulthood, singleness, you move on faith, you step out on faith, there are a lot of moments where you're in survival mode and you have to make certain decisions just to simply survive. Like I had to sever some relationships that were near and dear to me. I'm talking about friends that were we were in the mud, okay? And I had to let people go. I had to set boundaries, hard boundaries around my family, around my friends. And it hurt me so much because I always wanted to not stir the pot, you know? You could call it being a people pleaser, but I did not like confrontation. I did not like being the one to say no because I had so much rejection in my life. And so there were certain things that I put on just to survive, but that really wasn't helping me to survive. I was just existing. And I realized that those coats I kept putting on, I had to take all of that off. Like I truly had to become naked before God and say, first of all, I don't want any of this. I don't need any of this. I don't want to be bonded to any of this. God, make me anew. And so I had to really understand where are those areas in my life where I became this different version of a person that I put on just to survive, just to make it through. And so I realized that the Lord, even though I went through all of these different channels in my life where I felt like, God, I absolutely surrender. Like you can call me home now. Like it was that heavy, that I wasn't breaking down. Maybe I look at it like this now. I broke down to my knees many a times. I, went to my prayer closet many a times. I've sacrificed some things that felt super, super, super uncomfortable. I got rid of the comfort creatures that I had in my life. And that allowed me to really break open and come out of this shell, come out of this way of just being and doing that was really like 70% Janisha, 30% God in some seasons. To where now I give it to the Lord because it is just too much to carry. Obviously, my way does not work because it hurts when I try to do it my way. And so if you feel like you are in a season that feels like it's undoing you, you are coming loose at the seams, I want you to pause, okay? Take a moment to pause. Stop the busyness. Stop the spiraling. Stop the blaming. And you really need to just pause and sit still in the word of the Lord and ask yourself this question. What if this isn't the end for you, but the opening of you? Okay. What if this isn't the end of you, but the opening for you? What if this is the open door? Like there's an open door that God is wanting you to just walk through, that he is leading you to. And that is just a renewed life, a renewed heart posture, a renewed mindset, another chance at life yet again, life in him, seeing what life is like when you do it the Lord's way. And so I just want you to kind of sit with that question and ask yourself that. If you have experienced this season where you feel like you're breaking down, you're falling apart, and you realize, God, you were trying to shape me and mold me. The prayers that I've prayed, you were working that out in my life. And God, I thank you. I want to hear your testimonies in the comments. This prayerfully will bless somebody to realize that you're not alone. And there are different points in the journey with the Lord that feel like, why am I even doing this for real? I'm telling you, bro, sis, the sacrifice is so worth it. It is so worth it. The joy that I have in my heart, I cannot explain. The peace that I have in my mind, I cannot explain. I don't take my medications anymore to try to regulate my mind. My body doesn't feel full of angst and tension because of me trying to, be on guard all the time. The peace that I have now that I've given it to the Lord, it's beautiful. That's all I'm going to say. So that's all that I have for today. Again, if you are in a similar season of your life, if you have some comments, anything, any questions that you have of me, I would love, love, love to answer those. Just drop those in the comments below. But that's all again that I have for today. I will see you in the next video. Okay. Until the next time, stay savvy, stay faithful, and keep trusting God. Peace.